Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Townhall. I know a few faces, but there are many I don't know. My name is Bridget Bunning. I'm the Director of Pastoral Care and Mission over at the other campus, and I'm delighted to be able to be here with you all. First of all, to say thank you. It's been a rough 2 years since we've been able to do town halls. We've missed seeing people, we've missed face-to-face interactions, but it's good to be able to be here. Can y'all hear me okay? Okay. To communicate some information, but also to communicate our gratitude for all you bring to the table every day and all that you do every day. My role in these town halls is to just talk about one of our mission values. And today we're talking about compassion through the means of the movie of It's a Wonderful Life. Anybody not seen It's a Wonderful Life? Okay, well, you'll know what I'm talking about. Good, all right. Well, as you know then, in It's a Wonderful Life, the main character, George Bailey, who is played by Jimmy Stewart, is a go-getter, a big heart, wanting to change the world, travel the world. It's got big dreams and aspirations. The only problem with all those getting to that goal is he can't turn people down. He cares too much about the people that he loves and is in community with. A couple of the examples run all through the movie. As George is leaving for college, his dad suddenly dies. He saved a lot of money for college, and he wants to go. The only way they're going to keep that savings and loan open that his dad began, the board votes, is that George is going to run it. And George says, I can't. I got dreams. I think he says, I'm going to shake the dirt off this tiny town off my feet. But they talk him into it because if they close the savings and loan, as you know, that means that Mr. Potter, who is the resident bad guy, will take over the savings loan and all competition will be gone and he'll run the town. So not only does George give up that college dream, he gives the money he saved to his younger brother so he could go to college and continue his dream of going to college. So the movie, as you know, is one series of events after another where George chooses kindness and compassion over his own personal dreams and his own personal gain. Even on his wedding day, when he and his newlywed wife Mary are headed on their honeymoon with a big bankroll of cash, in the pouring rain, he sees a big line forming outside the savings and loan. He tells the driver to stop, and Mary's going, "Don't get out, George, don't get out." He gets out and runs, and he manages to save the day on the savings and loan with his own personal bankroll, making sure that the savings and loan stays open. He heads to a dilapidated old house with no heat, no windows on his wedding night, where Mary and he begin their life together, still being surrounded by those people that he loves. The townsfolk are serenading him, and he continues to choose kindness and compassion. So as George's friends leave town, move on to bigger and better plans, he runs the savings and loan, helping those on the margins of society and those that wouldn't otherwise have a chance to meet their goals. Then, as we know, one fateful night, his uncle, Christmas Eve night, goes to the bank to deposit the day's money, and he loses it. Mr. Potter sees it and collects it, doesn't tell them about it, and he starts foreclosure proceedings on George. And at this point, George's dreams begin to unravel for the savings and loan. As they start foreclosure, George questions everything that he's done, all the kindnesses that he's done, and he feels like his family and those he loved would be better off if he never had been born. You ever think that? I wish I'd never been born. But he actually gets to see what happens to the world had he never existed. As you know, an angel called Clarence, who's trying to earn his wings, takes George by allowing him to see what life in Bedford Falls would have been like had he never existed. But George's life, he sees, has rippled out into the world in all these good vibes that George couldn't even imagine, one kind and generous act at a time, changing lives for the better in both small and significant ways. At the end of the movie, George does realize his tremendous blessings, heads back to the house where the bank examiner's waiting for him. But his brother, Mary, his wife, have made lots of phone calls. It said, George's in trouble, we need help. So the whole town comes to bail George out this time, like he's bailed them out, financially and with support. Truly a wonderful end to what I think is a great movie. George has lived a wonderful life. So why am I telling you about this old black and white dated movie? Well, despite hardships, which, let's admit it, we've all experienced in these last 2 years, George chooses kindness every time. He chooses compassion and courage every time. They're difficult decisions, and he doesn't take them lightly because he knows that they will impact his life in big ways. They're acts of self-sacrificing love, fully knowing that in making these decisions, he's choosing to benefit others over himself. But not only has his sacrifices been great, but his rewards are even greater. The friendships and relationships he's made with those in the town, with those that you've made here at Nazareth home, who have relied on George for his goodness, as you all have relied on each other, makes you realize that you and those that you work with, individually and together, you touch so many people's lives. And you do indeed change the world, one person at a time. Sometimes you just don't realize it. Each of us sitting here and together communally, by acts of small, self-sacrificing love and compassion, which, as I said, is one of our Nazareth Home mission values, we change the world. We just don't always know it. So again, grateful to each of you. Thank you for your presence. Your gifts here are so appreciated, and thanks for sticking with us. God bless you, and I hope that you all have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bridget's always usually a hard act to follow with those great stories she has, but just want to say hello to everybody, and it's really great to see you. My name is Jennifer Smith. I'm the HR director, and you might have seen me. I see a lot of your faces, and I'm not sure if I see a whole face anymore. I'm going to have that, everybody's mask going to have to go down and just have a test on that one day. But I should say the biggest thing that's been on our brains a lot has just been, honestly, workforce. Workforce has just been the topic through the pandemic and everything that we've been experiencing, and just the last 2 years. I don't know about you guys, but when people try to ask me what year it is in the last 2 years, 20 and 2021 seem to like roll together. It's all one big year. And gratitude and expression of the people that have been here and you're continuing to be here, it is very heartfelt. And I tell you, we've been doing town halls at the other campus. We had 4, and this is our 5th town hall we've been doing now too. And we've got new people that have come on board with us, and entering into healthcare at this stage has just been a tremendous thank you for that as well. I know if you don't know Melissa Bailey is our new Director of Communications. You guys will see her back and forth, and I'm not sure how you all done some of the introductions over here. Shannon, you've been on board. How long have you been here now, Shannon? Feels like an eternity. Yeah.
I'd say 3 months.
2 months? 2 months. And I got Amy back there. So Amy's an MDS, and there's I'm trying to look at faces. Anybody else in the last 6 months that's brand new? So. Who's that? Oh, I'm sorry. That's Erica. I haven't even met Erica. So Erica Kavanaugh, yes. So I know all these names, and it's really nice to see you guys. And but again, you can see the people that are coming and joining us. I think thank you again for doing that, and for the folks that have been here. I just kind of want to go through some of the things that we've experienced as part of Nazareth Home Clifton over the past 2 years. Some of the actions we've taken, if you don't recall, I know some of you all were here right at the beginning of the pandemic. For those that were here, we had, if you recall, we were paying pandemic pay. For the first 6 months, we were paying pandemic pay. Over here, we also had that, we're unfortunately, Clifton experienced, I guess you'd say, one of the first exposures of sort of a, I guess you could say, everybody knowing about COVID really does exist in the buildings. We also had COVID pay that we were paying staff, and every dime of that went back to our employees. Every dime of pandemic pay that we received from the government went back to you as an employee, and that too. So we took those steps to say, hey, we got it, we're doing the best we can, and to do that as well. Because the one thing that is one of the forces that's very difficult for us is the fact that we have agency rates of pay out there. Agency rates of pay just continue to just go right up there. I mean, not like this, like this. When you have those competitions of those things as well, you have to do something and make sure that you can still afford it. So the next step we did is back in February of 21, if you were here, that you had, we did some wage adjustments. We increased the hourly wages of a lot of the staff just because we had to see where we stood. So we did do that across the board in February of 21. And then in November of 21, September of 21, we were seeing some increases in PRN rates for nurses. So we had to do that and kind of try to match what the agency people were giving out to folks, and we did some increases for there as well. And then in November of 21, we've also, if you saw, we were doing things sort of in increments, making sure that we would see where we would land, if we could do a weekend differential and see if that would actually stay put. We kind of used to have ending dates on things, say, see where we are. And we were able to actually increase the weekend differential from $1 to $3, and that stayed put. So if you're working on the weekends, that's an added incentive pay for anyone that's in an hourly category. So here we are today, and we're looking at February of this year now, and here we are full year again, and we're still reviewing, we're constantly reviewing wages. And now this year, on February 20th, we're gonna be putting some more increases in people's pay. So you'll start seeing notifications from me that'll come and it'll just say, and I know there's another Jennifer Smith over here, but I'm another one on the other campus. If you're in here, Jennifer Smith, we haven't met either. So anyway, that is me. And you'll see that information coming to you effective the 20th. Now that's gonna affect people that are hourly. So those that are exempt and also moving forward, we will also make sure that we'll be reviewing your wage and also making sure that those increases are placed in effect. In other words, what those starting wages may be, and then also some retention wages. So I want to make sure that's really clear. That doesn't mean that just you get it in February. When your anniversary comes up, we make sure we get your reviews done and looking at increases moving forward. So that's super important as well. The other thing that we've been looking at now on top of wages, effective 20th of February, is we're going to be increasing shift differentials. So basically almost doubling them. So if you've been experiencing a differential, I know most people in here are probably first shift, but if you've got second and third that you're ever picking up, if you were looking at shift diffs of $1 or 75 cents, it's $2 across the board for any of those shift diffs. So you'll see those increases as well. So, and again, lots of programming. So if you're a person that gets into ADP and you're looking around, give us some time to get all that programming completed because we can't do it before the next payroll, but that information will also be in there for those shift differentials. So I'm really pleased to be able to tell you all those things about, I should say, wages and things we've been looking at to make sure that that is in place for folks that have been here and working and those that are coming in as well. Just to give you some other information about other actions that we've taken, referral bonuses. If you're not aware, we have been doubling referral bonuses. We used to have $500 per person that we hired. It didn't matter what department was in. It didn't matter if we were hired, somebody referred here or back between the campuses. It just didn't matter. If you got someone to come on board for Nazareth Home Incorporated, either campus, you were subject to a referral bonus. Now what that means is that I always tell people if you're looking at referral bonuses, if you keep that person here for 60 days, you're gonna get $300 added onto your check. If you get them here for 120 days, you get another $300. And then once they've been here a year, that's $400. And that's unlimited. And also, so that's $1,000 per referral bonus. Right now we have that in effect through March 6th. We'll see where we are kind of landing, but that's been a double referral bonus that's been out there for a while now. And we also took the stance, and forever, if you've been here and you know, Nazareth Home was also well known for not hiring family. Not because we don't like your family, we like your family. It's just sometimes when you have family in the same facilities, we try to make sure that they're maybe not in the same department or different shift. Because I know sometimes if I'm with my family 24/7, then we won't probably be family afterwards. So you just got to be careful of that too. But also that is open, and you are welcome to do that. The other thing is too is that we, as far as rehires, if you notice, and hopefully you all got the email that I sent out with some policy updates prior to the meetings. For rehires, we've also been bringing some people back, and I tell you, through the pandemic, it was really challenging, especially with attendance, and it's still challenging for people. We have these crazy things that happen that, all of a sudden, they, shutting down schools. Who'd have thought you'd be teaching your children, you'd be a teacher, not just a parent. All the things that are the forces that have caused us to have to stay home and not be able to come to work. We used to look at rehires for attendance reasons, not till they've been gone for at least a year. And we've now modified that to where we're now looking at them after 3 months. So if they're eligible, not listed as eligible for rehire just due to attendance, we are now reviewing that after a 3-month period. So I want y'all to be aware of that too. Another thing that we've also done is, as far as sick pay goes, if you've seen or you hear the language EIB, it's listed as EIBR, as Extended Illness Bank. Those are now called sick days. Now, one thing about it is that they were a little bit still more challenging to get to. You had to, bring in a note and everything too. But the one thing that was brought to our attention was that, when you have somebody just sort of has a call off and it's just a one day, or not feeling quite the best, and we had some people that experienced, maybe not feeling well after a booster shot, or things like related to just, like, hey, I'm trying not to come to work sick, those kinds of things. If you have sick hours now, we will allow you to get into your sick bank after a day. So in other words, if you say I have a day, I'm calling in sick, you can access your sick bank, but I do want to make sure that you all are aware that if you do that, that's not an automatic. If you're not familiar with these forms, this is called an employee request form. It's a pink form, and you can tell it gets the name pink form instead of employee request form, but you would actually put sick down at the bottom and put in that request. The on-shift system cannot, if you call off and you're saying you're sick, it's not an automatic that we pay it. It's an automatic that you have to request the sick pay. So in other words, we have to have that notification, otherwise it goes to where it wouldn't be paid. So this is the form you would use, is putting sick down here if you're absent, and if it's up to 2 days, you can access sick. If you get to a 3rd day, however, you do have to get another note. We would be saying, hey, you need to go to the doctor. You need to go see the doctor, and because that could fall into some form of FMLA or anything like that. But our goal was to make sure that you had access to pay for those sick days. And if you have that, so again, that's how that's used, and that would be turned in to Dawn. Yes, that's that too. So the next thing I also wanted to bring to everyone's attention is just a couple other programs that we have. I know we tried back in the fall. We tried to introduce we did introduce the apprentice program. We got it back here again. It's called the Nazareth Home Forward Program. And what that is a couple of things around that. Is that if you're not familiar with who Laura Cartwright is, if you're a new hire, you probably are. If you're not, Laura is our nurse educator that really helps when we onboard people. She works at the other campus, and she's really sort of the spearhead of that, and we're gonna get Allison involved with this a little bit more too, as far as the Nazareth Home Forward program goes. We have had the opportunity to bring people into the facilities because there was such a nursing shortage, not nursing shortage, and CNAs. So we're trying to grow our own, get people involved in there. So we just kind of spearheaded the apprentice program with that, and basically we've had 18 people that are right now successfully in the apprentice program. They're all signed up and ready to go. But the other part of that is you do get some benefits with the apprentice program that we could talk about. I'm going to talk about all that as well, but it's up back here in the back on the brochures. But we also wanted to make sure that you don't have to actually be an apprentice if you want to participate in what's called leadership modules, dementia modules, or infection control modules, and that is something that you can actually increase your pay by 25 cents on the hour if you complete those modules. You also get this pretty cool little thing right here that goes at the bottom of your badge that shows that you have those certifications where you can actually say, hey, I'm in these programs and I'm participating, So not only your education, but also your pay. So with that said, with these buttons, it does that. We also get notification when it's completed. Those modules are assigned and the pay is applied. We have 8 people that has successfully done that across the campuses, and they wear those very proudly. But we also want to make sure that you know that those certifications are meaningful. It's not like sometimes you go through the motions, you have to do some of those things, but they actually are education modules that will actually increase that. I'm also very happy to let you know that we are now offering that for dietary staff. So we have a culinary program that's just been opened up for that as well, effective February 1st. And I have some brochures back here for that as the 2, and we're working on environmental services. That's still in the works. So we have 2 programs right now. We're working on a 3rd, and hopefully we'll get that up and running here very soon. But again, there's a lot of research that gets involved with making sure that we get those programs meaningful to your education and increasing your pay. So again, I know it's a lot of information to take in, but I think it's important to let you know the things that we have been doing, and I continue to express gratitude. I know I don't know you as well, but I know your faces, I know the work that you do, and I can tell you this, it is much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jennifer. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
It's great to see you all. I'm Mary Haynes, and it's my honor to represent you in a lot of places that I go and the things that I do. So I want to echo that same sense of appreciation and also an acknowledgement of these last couple of years. It's rough. It's been rough. There's so many words that we could use for this rough. You know, there's been a lot of grief, a lot of loss, fear, frustration. It's really been a tough time. So, as Jennifer said, for all of you that have not just hung in with it, but led it, you've led that effort here, and I thank you for that. Showing up, being present, making somebody's day. I think Valentine's is a great day to kind of say thanks for the open heart that you show. Always say open heart often is easier than open mind. Our minds, if we stay there, can get kind of screwy and can kind of screw us up sometimes with some faulty logic, messed up thinking, misinformation. But sticking with that open heart, we all know where our heart is going to lead us to be present to someone else and to also receive someone else's presence. I want to say that to you because caregivers, often we're more comfortable when we're the giver than we are the receiver. So I hope that each of us can appreciate our coworkers and the people that have been surrounding us. I said every day through COVID, even though we didn't know exactly what that day was going to throw us, for me, I knew I was going to be surrounded by people that were going to care and be right in there. And I hope that feeling was there for each of you. So my job, what I want to do in these next few minutes, is to really talk about how we make decisions. I think my job, what I owe you, is as much transparency as I can always provide. And in these last 2 years, there hasn't been a lot of that, just sheerly from the churn and the grind. But we do a number of things to try to stay on the same page with the 2 campuses. We have an admissions call every week. Craig and I have a call every week. The nurse leaders do a call every week. So we try to get as much collaboration as we can, because we're certainly all here to learn from each other's experience. So I'm gonna ask the new Vanna White here to cue this up, and off we'll go. So during COVID, when it comes to kind of the economy of an organization like ours, how do we earn? How do we earn? We earn on what we do. And what we do is to provide support and encouragement, healthcare, well-being to elders. And so census is the driver for our income. We took a hit in the 18 months of COVID. We were underwater for solid 15 months. It was scary, and it was rough. So when Jennifer mentioned the COVID pay, the incentive pay, we were able to do that because we received a payroll protection loan. When that was loaned, thanks be to God, we don't have to pay it back. We didn't have to pay one penny back because we spent it all on staff. 85 cents of every dollar we bring in at Nazareth Home goes to payroll and benefits. So we are a service organization, we're a people organization, and while I know that many days you feel like you don't make enough, there's not enough people around you, we need more, I'm here to say 85 cents on every dollar that we bring in goes to benefit and wage. So this chart, there's a lot going on it, but what you see is here at Clifton, during that low point, we were at 72. We finished out the year at almost 95. What's the census here today? 91. So comfort zone, what do you consider the comfort zone here, Craig?
Well, I mean, it's really in that 90 to 95 range, but it's really driven by 600 skill census.
Right, the skill
That's
census.
what we're
Yeah. So let's cue up the other campus. So on the other campus, we need to have about 140 people to meet the payroll there. During COVID, we went 18 months without that. We started coming back in census in May. We had 145. I think this morning when I was there, I think it's 154. That's okay. I start to kind of breathe easy when it gets to 145, and everything else from there, I start feeling pretty good about. But we had all those months, again, every one of us were in kind of a hole of some kind. So the good news, we seem to be back. We seem to be back. I don't know what your activity is here. We continue or have some activity on the other campus. We still have some people in isolation. Let's go on. So turnover. I want to talk just a little bit about turnover. So when you look at, this is a chart on 21, and I know it's not easy to see, but what I want you to see here is we had turnover of 86 people on this campus in 21. 11 of those 86 were people that we discharged. So as Jennifer is always saying, we don't hire anyone to lose them. We hire everyone for that person to have an engaged, productive, secure, safe, happy, affirmed experience at Nazareth Home. So in 21, we lost 86 people for a variety of reasons, but what I want to point out to you, and maybe you don't have this burn here on the other campus, but there's always a big burn about the attendance program or what we expect, I want you to know 11 people and 21. Now, how are we hiring? Here we hired 94 people. So there's not much space between 86 and 94, is there? So we're basically replacing, is my point. So with all that churn, we're still kind of starting at the same place. And that is something that I hope the things that Jennifer talked about can improve. And just to let you know what those recruitment efforts are now. So here on this campus, we have about 72 nurse FTEs in the budget. Right now, it looks like any given day, we're trying to recruit 24. Well, even the non-mathematicians in the room can see that's a high percentage off 72. So that means every day we're looking at a large vacancy in the team that we have planned to field. And dietary, things are really great here in dietary. We have 13 positions in dietary and we don't even have one full vacancy, or didn't at the time that chart was put out. Environment, same. We have about 11 FTEs in environment, and on balance, we're usually looking for one person. So again, in terms of making decisions, when you think about the time spent in trying to analyze what goes on in nursing, hopefully this chart gives you some ideas on why that time is spent. Because that's kind of the squeaky wheel. Nazareth home is about the same, little more because there's more people over there. But we discharged 10 people at Nazareth home. We had turnover of 146 and we hired 135. So we didn't even hit that same number for replacement. And basically the same is going on. We've got 127 FTEs in nursing on the other campus, and 15% of those positions have been vacant all year long. And dietary, a lot more churn on the other campus. We've got about 25% of our positions in dietary on the other campus are needing to be filled. Now I want to switch gears to nursing home compare. So we've had some changes in nursing home compare that I want to get in front of you, because I want you to be able to get in front of anyone you need to that would have a question of you on why it is that we are XYZ. So on both campuses, we're 5-star. We've been 5-star. On the other campus, it's 5-star started. When we came here, took us about 18 months to get to 5-star. We've stayed at 5-star, so kudos to you. That's great. Staying at 5-star is not easy, and the rules continue to change a little bit. And what's changed in the last few months is that now our staffing is displayed in more detail than ever before. There's more questions about staffing. We've had this payroll-based journal now for, 3 years or so. Time flies, I don't know, maybe it was just last year. But for a while now, people like me, I used to be able to write it in, but with advocacy and things that happen in DC, that's no longer accepted. So now it's a report that actually comes off hours worked from the payroll. Now, if you were to pick the #1 dissatisfier on the part of each of you in the chairs and all the people we serve, what do you think that dissatisfier is? Come on. Staffing. Staffing. What do we think, unfortunately, that many people believe about our staffing?
That we don't care.
That we don't care. They believe, I laughed about this, and Craig can bear with me, because I've been a woman in this field since I started. Now the attorney commercials, Morgan & Morgan, had one last week. Did you see it with a female executive? I'm like, okay, break that glass ceiling on the not care. Yeah. So now I don't care as much as the men in long-term care. So as crazy as it seems, the public believe that we don't staff just because we don't want to. Or if we were a for-profit entity, they're not staffing because they want to make money. Well, obviously, I'm here to tell you, and that is part of why I'm here, that we want to spend all that money on our care. That's who we are. That's what we believe in. So we on this campus are 4-star. This revolves really how the points go around our ends. So on this campus, we're 4-star. On the other campus, we're 3-star. We missed the 4-star by 2 minutes. But these are things I want you to know, and I want you to feel good about our staffing, even though, like I say, some days you may not feel real great about what's going on your team, but here's the facts. So when you look at Clifton, here's your average number of people that you're taking care of. Now keep in mind, personal care is not included. These are skilled nursing facts. So we here have 83.9, national average is 73. Total number of nurse hours per resident day for us here at Clifton, 4 hours and 30 minutes. Kentucky average, 3 hours and 50 minutes. RN, we're at 30. Kentucky's at 47. But look at the LPN. LPN hours per resident day, we're at 88 minutes, 1 hour and 88 minutes, as opposed to Kentucky, 53 minutes. The nursing assistant hours were pretty much right on there. We're a little over, 2 hours and 31 minutes, 2 hours and 11 minutes. And now they're including the staff on the weekend. Why do you think we're gonna now be reporting staff on the weekend?
That's what we're the shortest.
And why is that?
Nobody wants to work on the weekend.
Right. Smart lady said, because nobody wants to work on the weekend. Now there are some people that prefer to work on the weekend, but again, I hope you're getting a theme here in terms of decision making. Doubling the weekend shift differential. Upping the non-traditional Monday through Friday differentials. Steerage on policy. Trying to open up the door. Trying to incentivize you instead of the marketplace. Referral bonus instead of sign-on. Does that make sense? So these are decisions, and this is the way we make those decisions. So like I say, on the other campus, it's pretty much the same deal. We're lower on the RN, everything else is right on balance. Go ahead, Wilson. Again, great job of our nurse leadership. Our nurse leadership, I think, is the best, obviously, in the city, in my mind. And our nurse leaders have held hands, given education, worked with each of you, and thanks to you for stepping up to be vaccinated. This campus hit the top 10 vaccination in the early months of the government tracking these percentages. The other campus was quickly behind. But again, much appreciation to Allison and everyone here for the management of COVID. So-
Employees are now at 96%.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, this is huge, huge. And I'm really proud of the way that we've managed the exemption process, the testing process, again, just tops. So thank you for that. And again, you can put up the answer column, it's really the same. So again, how do you make decisions? You make decisions based on data, on facts, price, experience. So we haven't had a really great, in my view, customer satisfaction process for a while. In the last 15 months, or maybe it's been almost 2 years now, like Jennifer said, the last 2 years seem like one. Sorry about that, but I think it's been about 18 months that we've been using this group called Pinnacle. Now before, we did a fill-in survey every October with all of our customers. We got those results back late November in time for my annual report. And then that was it. The rest was just kind of anecdotal. So we started using Pinnacle, and what they do is they provide a report to Craig, to me, others of us in the organization, every month. And they have live conversations with our consumers every month. And if they get one that is troubling, they send us an email immediately. And that happens. And then we can contact that person and try to find out what was the misunderstanding. Again, most every, I hate to use the word complaint, but most everything related to anything that's not terrifically satisfying about our care, what do you think it is? But what happens as a result of that? Communication lacks. So if we all had absolute great manners, if we all were 100% attentive all the time to what that other person is feeling like, if we said less about us, asked more questions about them, we'd have better results. But in the course of the workday, oftentimes people get kind of, like I say, you get into your hole and maybe we're not extending as much. Good news is we don't have many bad things that happen, but the reality is we sometimes don't have smooth communication where everybody knows the expectation. But here is the good news. This company ranked us in the top 15%. So great news, Melissa has pushed that out. It's on our social media, but thanks to you, we are in the top 15% of the country in our customer satisfaction, both on this campus and the other campus. So that's the super good news. I haven't talked about Engage, and I know I'm running out of clock. I'm not sure where we are here with using the Engage and the Pulse surveys that come to you. If you do get one, if you answer it, I appreciate it. I just went through last week reading about the last 60 days of how folks on the other campus responded. I'll be doing that here too. You will be hearing a little more about our having some small group sessions where we want to hear from you. I am 100% all about process improvement. That is where I have always been. I don't believe there's problems that we can't improve. There may be some things we can't fix, but as Bridget said, if we all work together, I'm confident we can improve everything that is before us if we can get on the same page. So I don't want to be fixing stuff that you don't see as a problem. I want to hear what you think we all need to be working towards to fix. And I know the best ideas are going to come from you, not me. So Melissa is going to be setting up some of these, kind of what I call a little tent meeting. And that's going to be happening soon. So again, thank you. I hope the next time I see you, it won't be me doing all the talking, but that's kind of what today was set up to do. Again, I hope that you can appreciate what I shared was in the spirit of giving you information that I think belongs to you. It's information on what you're doing, and I think it's my purpose to share that. So I thank you. Happy Valentine's Day. Hope you get some chocolate and some smiles. So thanks for your time.
Thank you.